The men have come out for the longest of the track events at this championships, the 10,000 metres. Good deal many more involved in this than we saw in the 100 metres. There were no heats, obviously. There very rarely are in a major championships in the 10,000 metres.
Now we see that getting ready for the start is the following final of the day. It's 10,000 metres men. 21 athletes entered for the race.
Well, usually at major championships it's the East Africans that dominate, but it's never been quite the same dominance by East Africa in the Universiadi. Indeed, the last title did go to a Ugandan, Sadiq Bahati. But before that, it was Igor Makimov of Russia who took the title. A couple of South Africans have taken the title in the past. In Kazan, it was Stephen Mokoka, who was upgraded from silver in 2011. Before him, Gladwin Muzatsi went on to win the World University Games half marathon title in 2013 after he picked up the 10,000 title in 2009.
So now on the track, the next
Seguro Osako picked up the title in 2011.
21 athletes at the start line.
You have to go all the way back to 1989 to find a Kenyan who won, Julius Kariuki, who then went on. He's just had a games record that year, and he 1 year later picked up the Commonwealth title in 1990. That was the year, incidentally, that Patrick Sang picked up the 3,000 metres steeplechase and then finished Olympic silver medalist in 1992. This year, there's a nice mix of nationalities, from Argentina to Australia, Belgium, Canada, China, the Czech Republic, Denmark and Italy, and the Netherlands from Europe. China, of course, from the south, from the Far East. Japan also coming from Asia as well. The Africans represented by Uganda, South Africa, as well as Ethiopia this time around. It's not easy for the Africans to come and compete at these championships. Very much and very often the students finance themselves. And so anybody that comes from Africa is really, I think, deserves a pat on the back just for getting here. This is not easy. Generally you get South Africans, but usually the East Africans, they are conspicuous by just how few there actually are compared to a World Championships or an Olympics, for example. Just saw there Milton Kekana of South Africa. He's entered in the half marathon as well. Kersten, the Belgian.
Eccoli pronti per la partenza di questa finale, 25 giri per la finale dei 10.000.
Kekana is amongst one of the fastest in the field according to the start list.
So the final gets ready to start. Starting position from 2 lines. It's very important to follow the rules. We will present all the runners just in the course of the race.
See the Argentine there, Bernardo Marcel Maldonado, just adjusting his vest. Broken underneath 29.5 minutes this season. Going back to that victory for Julius Kariuki back in 1989, it was quite a championships in Palma de Mallorca that year. A certain Roger Kingdom won the 110-metre hurdles in a games record. Stefano Mai won the 5,000 metres, and the great Ana Fidelia Quirot of Cuba won the 400, 800-metre double. And behind her was the 1993, or the future 1993 world champion, Joel Miles of the USA. Ellen van Langen, another Olympic champion later on, won as well. And Paula Ivan of Romania repeated her 1500, 3000 metre double from that year. And they haven't even got to the likes of Sabine Brown, and Steve Backley, who won the javelin. Silke Renk as well won the women's javelin. Igor Astropovich retained his hammer throw title. It was an absolutely chock-a-block year of big stars. And who knows who will come out of this latest event to go on to make their names in future senior championships at the Olympics and the World Championships themselves. Uganda's Brian Wagner there. Fairly unknown. Has almost broken under 29 minutes. Uganda took the men's title at the World Cross Country Championships this year. Not sure we're likely to see something similar this evening, though. 25 laps then of the San Paolo Stadium track to find out who has the best endurance on track.
Number 3-6 for Hiroki Abe of Japan, and 3-8-1, another Japanese athlete, Kazuya.
No Moroccans in this one. There was a Moroccan winner back in 2007, Mohamed Fadil, who became the third double winner in the Thai capital, Bangkok, as he added a 10,000 metres to his half marathon. Very often you will find that the students that come and enter the 10,000 will then go on and take on the half marathon as well, unless they win it, of course, and then they probably take the day off.
We have two Canadian runners on the race, Farah, Abdulkarim, and another one, Benjamin Preisner.
Well, last night we saw
from Finland,
a Chinese victory in the women's race, Zhang Deshun from the Tianjin Normal University.
We have the athletes from Belgium.
And she has a teammate in this race, Chi Chao, who also goes to the Tianjin Normal University. Hasn't got a personal best underneath 30 minutes, though, so it's probably unlikely that we'll see the same thing. He did go to the Half Marathon World Championships last year and was well down the order. Universiadi record stands to Stefan Freigang, who won in Sheffield in 1991 in the games record, 28 minutes, 15.84. And that knocked 30 seconds off the record that was set by Julius Kariuki, the Kenyan. And of course, the 1988 World Olympic 3,000 meter steeplechase champion. Kariuki involved in that mega dynasty of Kenyan dominance over the jumps in the steeplechase. We'll see the Universiadi steeplechase later in the week. Lachlan Cook, though, looks like he's gone in front. The Australian, who goes to university in the United States of America, to the University of Virginia in Charlottesville. Actually competed in the English Championship, so in Bedford in mid-June, and won it. He at the moment is taking them out in this early stage race. It's already gone off quicker than the women's race did. You can see them, they're already almost single file. Last night there was a bunch of women that were pretty much together through the whole first part of the race. And it wasn't until Zhang injected a little bit of pace in the second half of the race that they started to split up. Drink stations in operation again, of course. See there the Japanese Abe just going across to take some drinks. Hiroki Abe. He went to the World Junior Championships in 2016, and at the Asian Championships this year was 6th in the race that was won by Dawid Fidadu of Bahrain. Still the Australian, though, who's taken them out, Lachlan Cook. He's knocking on the door of going sub 29 minutes for the 10,000 metres. He's only, as far as I'm aware, entered in this race. He's not one of those who's going to go on and do the half marathon later in the week. So it's all or nothing here. He's been being followed by the Italian, Iliass Aouani. Aouani, who has got underneath 28.5 minutes. Another one who's based in the United States of America as well. Ran in the NCAA Championships in Austin at the beginning of June. He's a man who has also seen action in the European Junior Championships as well 4 years ago, over 10,000 metres. 23 years old. There he is in blue. And having seen an Italian win in the discus this evening, he will certainly be hoping to give the Italian crowd a little bit more joy. And they are hanging around, obviously, to see whether or not he can deliver. Stefano Mai of Italy won the 5,000 metres back in 1989. And in a games record as well that year. So one of the Canadians coming across to pick up some drinks. Preisner, who was in the steeplechase in the World Junior Championships 5 years ago. He goes to the University of Tulsa in Oklahoma, where he's studying chemical engineering. Adriaan Wildschutt of South Africa is going along at the moment in third place. Two South Africans, Kekana also going in this race as well. Goes in front. 2,000 reached in 6:06. That means that they're on a pretty good pace. They are on schedule to just about break 30 minutes if they can keep this going for the rest of the 8 kilometers in this race. That's man with the backer coming across to get a drink. Still Wildschutt though, leading them out, and they still are very much in a line. Farah Abdulkarim there, the 22-year-old who goes to Mississippi State University. He's Canadian, but studies in the United States. He's a man who has really been improving himself this year in every way possible. Going to university, obviously, but also PBs at 3,000 indoors, 5,000 metres and 10,000. Fully using the NCAA circuit to help him in his career. His PB down to 28 minutes, 39.66 as well. He's there, he is, in third place at the moment. Abdulkarim, surprised by having to pay to come to the World University Games. Serves as an Olympic game qualifying for some sports as well, don't forget this event. Managed, though, to get the funds delivered before the May the 17th deadline. Very confident, he's very, very optimistic for the future. So then the Italian has taken over, Aouani at the front. Fastest in the field, although yet to show himself at the front, is Abe. He is the only man to have gone under 28 minutes this year or any other. Aouani seems to be enjoying him, looking at either himself on the big screen, both ends of the stadium. They're running towards the huge metal Vesuvius, Mount Vesuvius. At 3,000 is reached in just under 9 minutes. So the pace is pretty constant, and they are on track to break 30 minutes, but this is not really a pace-making session. This is all about gold. It's all about medals. But the pace is being kept honest. 30 minutes, of course, if you compare it with the women. The world record for the women is well under 30 minutes now, held by Alma Diana. She smashed the world record held by the Chinese at the Rio Olympic Games in 2016. Haven't seen an awful lot of her since Rio, but reports are that she is on her way back. So Aouani still leads, and there's a decent support down that back straight now, all cheering him on. Decides it's time for a drink. Like in the marathon, you don't want to get dehydrated. It will come back to kick you in the second half of the race. The humidity, very high. The temperature, meanwhile, is not so bad. And, well, Aouani there got in the way of the South African, and all of a sudden, Adriaan Wildschutt decides to put in a little bit of a spurt. He's decided it's all suddenly got far too slow for his liking, and he's now built up a 5-6 meter lead. Aouani still in second place, with Abdulkarim in third for Canada. Being left well alone. Wildschutt has just dropped off a bit and seems to want to help, but he's so far ahead, I don't think anybody wants to put in a spurt to help him out. He's going to have to just get slower. So he decides better of it and decides just to head on regardless. Abdulkarim now has overtaken Aouani, and the two Japanese now beginning to move to the front as well. We've already talked about Hiroki Abe, but there's also Kazuya Nishiyama himself. He's around about 30 seconds slower than his teammate, so he'll be looking for his experience to help him in the second half of the race when we reach it. Still at the moment only just over a third of the way through. Nishiyama went to the cross-country Asian Championships where he took a silver medal last year. Man who has tasted experience at the World Junior Cross-Country Championships as well. Didn't find a great deal of success there. But he's in the mix at the moment, and the other South African now just popping his head round the two Japanese. That's Kekana. Very little known about him internationally. Wildschutt then still leads. First major championships for the 21-year-old. He was turned 21 just a couple of months ago. He too, man on the rise. He's picked up a few victories this season in Myrtle Beach, Rock Hill in the United States. Got a PB indoors. Picked up a 3,000 meters PB in just outside 8 minutes before breaking his 5,000 meters personal best in Charlottesville in Virginia, and his 10,000 meters PB went, would you believe it, in a heat in Jacksonville, Florida. He ended up 19th in the NCAA championships in Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas taking over from Eugene this year. So then approaching halfway. Aouani finally takes up the running again as Wildschutt just gets the chance to just take a rest and sit on his shoulder. Kekana is as near to the front as he's been. And Abdulkarim, well, he's been there or thereabouts all the way through. He's quite happy, though, to let others take the pace. The Ethiopian there is Ashenafi Tadesse Bipin. Ethiopia with such a rich history in distance running. You don't very often see them, though, at the World University Games. He's around about 20 meters back, though, the 19-year-old. All great experience for him. 5,000 meters reached then in 14:50, so they are on 29:40 pace at the moment. All of these men are quite capable of running those kinds of times. And with the temperature dropping away, they'll probably be able to do it again. Just the humidity that will get in their way. And even that feels a bit better now that the temperature is dropping. 12 laps to go. Now then, they will start thinking. 10,000 meters is about getting to halfway, a little bit like the marathon is about getting to halfway. And then you start to think tactics. You start to think, when would be a good time to go? Should I leave it? Do I want to risk the long route, or do I want to try and make sure I've got some energy for the last lap? Aouani comes across. So too does Wildschutt decides not to take a sponge. This group now beginning to break away. There's Abe. As we said, he's probably the favourite in terms of times, the only man under 28 minutes. And he decides that he needs to take to the front for the first time in the race. Just stretching it out, just seeing what the others have got, whether or not they decide to go with him. Just finding out just how fit they feel. Wildschutt has answered the challenge and has gone right up behind him again. Abe looks up at the screen just to see what's going on. Aouani is there, Wildschutt is there, Abdulkarim is there, and so too the other South African Kekana is there as well. The other Japanese now finding the pace too hot, Nishiyama. So that really reflected by his personal best time in relation to his teammate, so he doesn't quite have the legs to go this fast in these conditions. Abe looks across at Aouani. They're starting to lap for the runners now. Past the Vesuvius, which is looking quite splendid now that the night sky has made it really luminous. Clever idea. Vesuvius, of course, which dominates the Bay of Naples, which you can see from the promenade along the front of this lovely city in Campania. The Fisu Hotel has got a grandstand view of it, as well as the Castel, which is right outside as well. There are so many things to do here in Naples. One of the top ones for me is getting lost. Always to be recommended. Of course, in the days of GPS, it doesn't help you because the streets are so narrow here that you just can't find your way around. And the locals don't help, they send you the wrong way. Nevertheless, it was very enjoyable, and I would do it again. These runners don't know where they're going. Very easy, just keep going round in an oval shape 25 times until you reach the finish line. And hopefully no one's in front of you. Wildschutt is back in front again. Aouani is looking very, very good as well. Nobody really looks like they're suffering yet. Abe has got the most incredibly neat hair still. Oh, and oh, yep, little word there. Abdulkarim not too happy there with the South African, who was cutting the corner a little bit on him. And having another word with him. And the Canadian thinks the best way of dealing with that is to try and go in front, but the South African's not letting him. South African doing well here, just trying to boss the race. He's right by him. They're very lucky they don't clip each other. Head past the Finn, Eero Saleva. It's been a long time since the glory days of Finland and the Flying Finns all those years ago. It would be nice to see Finland get back into distance running. But with the East Africans so strong these days, it's hard to see how it could happen. Aouani comes through then, 8 laps to go. Still looking very comfortable. Abdulkarim right behind him, as to Kekana, who's right behind his teammate, Adriaan Wildschutt. Adriaan Wildschutt. Looking to push into the world of distance running. There were no times actually registered for him on the start list. Had to go via another route to find out what he's been up to. Abe now, 7,000 meters reached in 2043. They are still pushing around about 29 3/4 pace. Helped out by the fact that they're all taking their turns in leading, except for the Canadian. Oh, their little push again. This time it's Aouani's time to look around at the Canadian, who he believes is the culprit this time. He had to push Wildschutt. And you can see that they all want to just get that little extra inch of advantage. Tension beginning to ramp up now. Nobody yet has made a burst. Kekana goes to the front as Wildschutt comes out to get some more water. He hasn't taken some for a while. He's decided to go for the bottles, so he needs a drink. Just a little one, just to get rid of the dryness in the mouth. The two South Africans join each other now at the front to control the pace. Abe goes back to 5th, Aouani in 4th. Abdulkarim in 3rd at the moment, looking to take victory for Canada. All of them looking to take the title that was won by Uganda last time out by Sadiq Bahati. And all of them still look reasonably comfortable, but then they haven't burst yet. No one's actually tested to see how much stamina the others have got left yet. Into the last third of the race, and Kekana still leading his teammate Wildschutt, with Aouani there, Abdulkarim of Canada, and Abe, who's the big threat to all of them, at the back for Japan. Aouani has another look up at the big screen. He went to the European Juniors, 14th in 2015. He went to the cross-country championships as well, where he finished 29th in the under-23s. chance for Abe. There he is at the back there in the red of Japan. 2016 saw him go to the World Juniors, where he didn't really figure very highly, in all honesty. Got his personal best last year in 2018, in November. And it was a massive drop as well. He knocked nearly 1.5 minutes off his 10,000 meter time from his previous personal best, which he'd set in Yokohama in 2017. This year he's not been in that sort of form again. However, his form is enough to make him a contender in this race. So then, Kekana now, a little bit of a lead. They go past another of the back markers, and there's no change in the order. We're still waiting. Somebody needs to make a decision, as Patel doesn't make it easy for them to go past. Nearly falls off the curb inside before coming back on again. I remember the days of the 10,000 meters when athletes who were lapped used to move out and allow the leaders through, but that doesn't seem to happen anymore. They are literally queuing up to make a move, but without actually doing it. I don't know if you could hear that, the crowd shouting Italia. They want Aouani, as Abe responds to that by going to the front. Abe at some point, you would think, has got to get going, because he knows that if in a fast race, he's got faster than everyone. Oh, there's a problem there. Wildschutt nearly fell. And again, him and Farah Abdulkarim have not been getting on all the way through this race. The Canadian goes into second place now. Abe makes the move. This could be it now then. The move for gold is being made. Abe makes the stride for home with 3 laps to go. 1,200 meters between him and gold. Wildschutt goes into second place after that near fall. Kekana is in third, and Abdulkarim is in fourth, and now Aouani, the Italian, suddenly looks in trouble. That little burst by the Japanese seems to have taken the Italian by surprise, and he's already looking up at the screen as if he's got nothing left. He's more interested in what's behind him. Abe now making the move, trying to get the gold. He looks full of running, doesn't he? Full of running. He hasn't broken the 2 South Africans. Kekana is having a great race. Very little known about him, but he is certainly in there. Wildschutt perhaps is the bigger danger to Abe. Abe's just backed off again. They've got rid of the Canadian, Farah Abdulkarim, and the Italian, Iliass Aouani. But if they slow down too much, they'll let them back into it again. Abe, again, 800 meters to go. A 66-second lap. Now that's better. One of the athletes has moved out and allowed this race to go on properly. Very nice that by Eero Saleva of Finland to allow them to go through. Abe though, all they coming up to a difficult one here. 4 men they're going to lap. The difficult here is if one of them moves out and the others don't. Abe's going to have to go round the outside as they hit the bends, and they'll have to go the long way around. Wildschutt now looks like he's gone. He's now drifted around 10 meters back, and it's down to Kekana. Kekana against Abe. Abe has a look around. Abe nearly stopped. That was a strange piece of tactics. He invited the South African to go in front of him. I don't think he wants to be in front when they hit the bell. He wants to chase the rabbit. Kekana leads then. Wildschutt hasn't given up. He's still there. He's beginning to close them down again because of the fact that Abe closed it down the pace, but they go through the bell. 28 minutes. They're going to be way under 30 minutes, but who's going to get the gold? Kekana leads at the moment, but Abe again, he's playing with them. It's almost like Mo Farah tactics here from the Japanese. Right on the tail. Wildschutt has nearly fought his way back into contention. Kekana, though, tries to burst. 250 metres to go. Abe's with him, though. He's still keeping his powder dry. Or is he beginning to struggle? South Africa against Japan. Wildschutt this time is spent. He will have to settle for the bronze. But it's between the Japanese, Abe and Kekana. And here comes Abe then round the outside. The fastest man in the field. Still won't get past. This is a remarkable race by Kekana. And Kekana is now printing away. This is a shock. And South Africa are going to take the gold. What a run this is. Mokofane, Milton Kekana takes gold for South Africa. Abe takes the silver. Wildschutt takes the bronze. It's a 1 and 3 for the South African nation. What a fabulous race. Confusing doesn't begin to describe those last 1,000 meters. But he kept his head when all were losing theirs around him. What a race by Kekana. The South African we didn't think was going to win has. 29 minutes, 29 seconds, 43 hundredths. But that doesn't really tell the story at all of what was a fascinating race. Well, China took the gold in the women's race, but it's South Africa who are the top dogs in the men's. And it's not often you see an Ethiopian like that at the end of a 10,000 meters. What a wonderful race that was. Well, Abe gives him a hug. That was a real battle between them. Well, it just goes to show, isn't it? You can't necessarily tell how someone feels by their face in distance running. The Ethiopians have had a great job of that all through the years with their major stars. And Abe, he really looked like he was ready to go. So calm, but the pain that he was feeling was concealed under his poker-like expression. He tried to go several times, and a little word there for Farah Abdulkarim, who just found the pace too hot in that last 1,000 meters. Well, Kekana in his first major international race comes up with a master plan to win that. He reacted to absolutely everything. He stayed well out of trouble for the first half of the race, didn't bother even getting to near the front, never mind being in front. We didn't see him there until around about 7,500 meters. Then he and his teammate went to the front and they decided to take it on. A brilliant race all around. Gold for South Africa and the bronze. A perfect end to their day. Well, let's take a look then at the highlights of that race. And, well, unlike the women's event, this race did actually go off a little bit quicker. They went down to single file within the first 2 laps, which is something that we didn't see in the women's race until well into the second half of the race. Well, straight away for a large part of that race, Aouani, the Italian, gave the home supporters some hope that they might be able to add to the discus gold that they took earlier in the evening. But it didn't take long until there was just 5 men in it. Wildschutt nearly fell over there. Him and Farah Karim were niggling each other through large parts of that race, it has to be said. And that was when Abe decided to go for it. Good tactics, I thought, because whilst the others were all worrying about each other, he eked out a few meters. Couldn't make it stick, though, and then he either decided just to back off again. And that's why we made the analogy to Mo Farah, because that's classic Farah tactics, to spurt, drop. And Kekana didn't worry about anything like that. And he looked as surprised as anybody to come across to take the gold medal. Abe thought he'd got his tactics right, and then just discovered that Kekana had a little bit more stamina and a little bit more speed at the end that he was banking on. Well, there'll be a party in the South African part of the cruise ship tonight as well, then. of the Chinese runners, I think, down there who is getting medical attention. Let's hope he's okay. You can see there in the back of your shot with the two South Africans celebrating. The medics are out. Dehydration, heat exhaustion. Well, maybe not heat exhaustion now, because the temperature has definitely dropped. It's a good time for the 10,000 meters. And of course, last night, ironically as well, the sun went in and it got a lot cooler in the evening with the cloud cover. And tonight, with the rain that we had earlier, has just taken away the harsh conditions that we had on the first day in the afternoon.
Now we see the live results appearing on the scoreboard for 10,000 meters, final man. Mokofane Kekana of the Republic of South Africa is the winner of the gold medal, 29 minutes, 29.43. The silver medalist, Hiroki of Japan, 29 minutes, 30.01.